Hello and welcome to Transformation Now. Hi, I'm Rita Rocker Kraft, and as a speaker, author, and trainer, my heart is to really help you through my programs at soaringhigher.rocks to grow and learn and really excel personally as well as professionally. I always tie the personal and professional together, even in my books like the latest one in colleges and bookstores, which is Shaping Your Future, Becoming the Brand Everyone Wants. Because it's so important that we, as human beings, our personal life does affect our work life and vice versa quite a bit. And so my programs always relate to both and tie them in so that we can feel and do our best in every area of our lives, because again, it does impact the other ones. So as I was finishing up on the last program about giving presentation skills, that was really to whether it's 1 or 2 people or 1,000 people, whether it's somebody on a personal side or a business side. And so just to finish up a little bit with that, and then we'll go into another topic. But one of the things that's an exercise in the book and in the workbook is preparing a 3-minute presentation following the guidelines, of course, that are in the book, but then sharing with the class. And you could share also, if you don't have a class, you can share with someone that you really trust, a business professional, someone who can give you a good critique, or maybe a few good critiques, or get a few responsible friends or family members together and try this. So you don't really need to experiment on real business people, but whatever the case may be. And so what you want to do is open with a brief conversation with your audience, okay, no matter who that is. And remember some of the key ingredients for good presentation skills to get people to understand where you're coming from, to help them, to guide them, to build them up, to help them grow, to improve the bottom line in the company, to gain new business, whatever the case may be. You want to include passion, enthusiasm, okay, and your beliefs. Beliefs in what? Well, first of all, beliefs in your message, because sometimes people take a job because, yes, they need to work. But do they really believe in the product or the service, or are they just giving a spiel about the company because, well, I have to come back and have so many sales when I do my recap, and so this is what I need to do, okay? So you have to have a belief in your message, what you're talking about, who's involved, all the details. Belief in your product, really, really important, and belief in your service. Why do they want this service? Is it because it will help me to grow? Will it help me to gain more business? Will it help me be more confident because I don't have much confidence? Will it help me to maybe tone down rough spots on me? I mean, whatever the case may be. And so remember, enthusiasm in your belief, positive enthusiasm, is critical in order to be actually really successful. So show that you truly believe in your products, your services, you truly believe in your book, in your program, in your coaching skills, whatever the case may be, and offer positive examples, stories, pictures, etc., that can go along with it. Because it's a lot easier to consider someone believable if they have the actual evidence. We like evidence. We like to see, oh, look at this person and how their life changed in the before and after pictures, or how this person struggled and loved, football, baseball. They struggled and they didn't know what to do. But because of your system, your ability to coach, which is what you're maybe trying to sell, this person's life completely changed. And that happens all the time. In the pageant system, women will help other women to really grow and learn, and maybe they started out with no confidence, and here they are the award winner because of everything that they received, the belief of their coach who caused them to believe in themselves. So all those things matter. And so let them know how this product, this service, etc., will help save them time and money. If they're really busy and this will truly save them time and money, you really want to focus on that. It's not about you, it's all about them. What's going to help them? Maybe guide them into a whole new direction, because the way they grew up, and maybe parents and counselors at school said, no, we expect you to do this, be that. and the person is miserable. And so, but by the time you get through this and you go through temperaments and personalities and you talk about all these things, then they can actually go, oh, I've been going the wrong direction, and give them the courage. And so you're showing them, you're guiding them into a new direction by how it will help, what it will do, what kind of services that you can provide. This service does this for you. This one will help you in the communication. This will help you in maybe your written skills, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's examples of how you created a more engaged workforce. That is critical. You know, a lot of times, especially with more outbound calling, people don't even show up for work. So how do you get a more engaged workforce where they actually take ownership for their position? They like going to work because it's positive. They build you up. They help you to grow into other positions that you know you're qualified for. They bring out the best in you. So if you have programs like that and you see that, oh, these companies really need an engaged workforce because things aren't so good right now, but you have the answers and you show them how. So think about that in your presentation. How do you help them? And give them the stories, the statistics, whatever they need. And again, it could be samples, photos, videos. Testimonies are awesome. You can create one sheets, which is something I do, and it'd be one sheets that give examples of the problem, or maybe one big example, and then through working with this person and providing these services, this is now what they're able to offer, and this is a testimony or 2 or 3 testimonies of people that actually literally had a huge change in their life or their business because of your service, helping them transform into that and growing their business. So think about those in your own little 3-minute presentation that you could do, working through and then practicing how you're going to give a presentation to other people. When you're out networking and you're at an event and you're meeting people, they want to know what you do and they want to know quickly. So I'd say even then, you know, come up with like a 1-minute quick presentation of what you do, the company, and then give them their name, your name, so that they will remember it more. Or think of something that I'd say if you did like a 1, a 2, and a 3-minute practice session, then no matter how much time you had, if it was just a little bit or if you had up to 3 minutes, you'd have it down. It's not really scripted. You're not trying to think of a script. It just comes automatically what you can do for other people, and this is how. And of course, you give your name, etc. But again, it's all about them. So any questions on that? You know, you're very welcome to contact me on, but always include what you do for them when you're giving any kind of presentation. Even if it's a family member, include what you want to do for them, how this is going to, you know, even if it's something where, you know, they get the car keys taken away from them if it's a kid, but because you're trying to help them and what you're trying to do in your presentation skills. So think of it that way. Again, like I mentioned in the last time, emotions play a big part in people's responses, whether we think they do or not, but they really do, and that's been proven. Okay, so now I'm going to switch a little bit, leading the way, your ticket to becoming an indispensable success, which is also in the book, and kind of, you are a brand. Whether we think of ourselves as a brand isn't just a product. A brand is you, it's me, it's all of us. And so what kind of impression are we giving off to other people by we, the brand? And so consider the important aspects of the indispensable person that everyone wants to be around. Well, think about the kind of people you like to be around. And then think about the kind of people that you don't like to be around because they're negative, they make you feel bad, they're critical, they're scary, you know, whatever the case may be. And so allowing for emotions can be a very good thing as long as they're in appropriate boundaries. So if you see if one person's having a rough time, you know, you may take some time out to help them. Now, Friday morning, I'm going to be an MC at an empowerment breakfast. And the gentleman who brought this back and does all the work on it and takes care of everything, he's going to be there Friday morning. But what's happening to him Friday afternoon? The 4 kids that were in a car accident in the morning and the young man in the front seat died, that's his grandson. I just about cried. And I said, really? And you're going to be there? And he said, yes. It's a celebration of heaven for him. And this is something he feels responsible for, so he's going to attend in the morning and be there for the people that he wants to help build up their businesses. That's pretty awesome. And it'll be amazing to see how that all comes out. So allowing emotions, yes, sometimes we need to do that. Sentiment, if necessary. Strength, we show our strength, but we also want to build up strength in other people. I mean, that gentleman that I had mentioned before that, spent his first paycheck on feeding 15 hungry kids at McDonald's, he was showing a lot of strength of character as well as sentiment and heart. So that's important. Differences in temperament is very, very important. If you go through something like Myers-Briggs, which there's a Keirsey 4 points, which is an extension of that, and you can really get into a lot of details. I love those kind of things because it really tells you who you are, what you're best at, where your interest lies, and your skills, but it also tells you if you're a warm and fuzzy person and you're very sociable and you're working with people or meeting people who are all serious, all numbers, all bottom line, okay, those personalities don't match at all. So it tells you how to talk to the other person, how to communicate with the other person in ways that they can understand. And some people are more visual, some are more auditory, some have to do things to learn. So we have to think about all those other things, not just how we handle something, but how do other people receive it? How do they handle it? And I remember, and I think I shared this one in a much earlier program, an example of this is on temperaments, is when I was working with Leadership SARPI, and that was my program through the chamber, and we did all these awesome leadership exercises and activities with all the professional business people that were in the class. And so when we were out at a retreat and I was speaking and I was talking on temperaments and also our nonverbal skills, which people watch quite closely, and the subject was how you can say something, the same thing, in two different ways, and people will receive it totally differently, even though it's the same words. And so I just was a really quick example. So I said, okay, pretend that you did a really awesome job and on a presentation that you gave or something you did. And I'm just walking by on the way to my office. And so I just look over at you and I smile and I say, wow, that was great. And then I ask the group, or I ask the person I'm speaking to, how would you feel? And they always make comments like positive, good, appreciative, all that. Okay, so then I say, so now what I'm going to do is go up to someone and say, well, that was great. Well, to my surprise, the person I did that to was sitting in the front row. There were desks, tables, and he was all by himself in the front row. He had his nice suit on. He was a bank vice president, and that's all I'll say, because nobody would guess who it was anyway. But everybody else was kind of back farther in their more friendship mode. And so unfortunately, since he was close, I walked up to him and I said, this is, okay, so what if you did a great job on something and I walked by and I said, well, that was great. How would you feel? And he glared at me, very angry eyes, and I had kind of leaned over and my fingertips were a little bit on the table. Oh, no, you don't do that. And so he said, I tell you to take your hands off of my table. And I was like, ooh, and I thought, oh gosh, how am I gonna get out of this one? And so after a few seconds of going, oh, mercy. And he was really angry. I mean, he was truly angry. And so I said, well, this is just a good example of how people receive comments and body signals differently. And I kind of went on trying to explain that in a positive manner without wanting to kick him out of the room. But it was quite interesting. So again, we always have to think of temperament and how that's, again, you learn a lot of that just by watching people. Compassion, empathy, kindness, concern, along with all of your strength and your fortitude and your numbers and your programs and everything else. So they don't show weakness. Those do not show weakness. They show true strength, personality, and professionalism. And so think about that. They know that you hear them Because a lot of times you can be talking to someone, and that can be in the family, and it's like, they didn't hear a word I said. And you can tell, because they'll talk over you, or they'll get off on another subject, or whatever the case may be. So watch, watch, watch again. So some of the exercises I talked about in there are: discuss what you believe is exceptional leadership and communication, okay? Including, what differences do you see in male-female power and communications? Well, like I mentioned before, when women nod their heads, they usually want more information, and when a man nods his head, he's usually going, okay, we're done. Okay, yeah. And so think about that. There are some definite differences in male-female communication, although they are melding a little bit more together. Women usually, they say, are more nurturing, and men are more like, this is it, this is practical, this is what we're going to do. But people are getting different types of personalities and behaviors now, more than they used to. So body voice, is it intimidating, or is it strong? Is it nurturing? What is it? So again, what differences in the male-female roles? Another one is, what kind of people do you prefer to follow? What kind of people do you prefer to follow? Maybe not who we're following at the moment. Maybe we're afraid to try to jump over into this other group of people we feel are more educated, or more polished, their clothes are more expensive. And again, you can get some great clothes if you go to consignment shops. You really can, because they were expensive. And so think about that, people that you prefer to follow. And the more we associate with those people, the more we communicate with them, the more we learn from them, we watch, we listen to anything. If it's somebody on YouTube, whatever the case may be, you will start following those people and pulling away from the ones that are negative and maybe holding you back. So think about that. Are they helpful? Are they brain numbing? Who are you following? Another one is, what kind of leadership behaviors do you find defeating, defensive, and demoralizing? That can happen a lot in a company where someone doesn't like a person, and so they try to demoralize them and put them down. It happened to me at a very important job, impressive company. And so those are the things where you have to realize, hey, I'm good, I'm smart, I'm plenty capable, so I'm going to come up with responses that are strong, that are positive, and won't let that person continue to think they can demoralize me or be defensive, because I'm not playing that game. They might think they can defeat me and get me out of here, but nope, not happening. And so there again, you've got to really think of who you are, your value and your worth, and not let people do that. We allow people to do that. And I think Eleanor Roosevelt, I can't think of quite what the quote was now, but people will treat us the way we allow them to treat us, was basically what it boiled down to. And that is so true. That is so true. So think about that. You go, nope, I'm not allowing that to happen no more. So then another one is an exercise where you ask yourself, am I operating in fear? A lot of times people are. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of someone's anger or criticism. Am I operating out of fear? Fear of speaking in front of people, maybe? Am I just always frustrated because nothing seems to go right? Am I questioning my abilities to rise above my competition? Why am I doing that? Again, is it because they have a lot more education than I do, fancier house, fancier car, etc.? Well, I know several people who got into, pretty close to the millionaire status, no college at all, but they had the drive, the grit, the gumption, they worked hard. And one she's retired now, but was a vice president in a huge, somewhat global advertising agency, never went past high school graduation, but she worked her way up from just an accounting clerk doing that to where she ended up. And a couple of women that own very successful career agencies, employment agencies, lots of money, lots of expensive trips. They didn't have any college either. So never let that influence you that, oh, I can't do that, I don't have the education. You can learn so much on the internet nowadays. You can pretty much self-educate yourself on any topic that you want so that you can get involved, even if it's starting out in organizations. where you build leadership skills that then you can put on a resume because you held these positions in these organizations. You can put those on a resume and include those in your work history, in your experience. So never let the lack of a particular type of education keep you from that. I read also where so many employers say they would prefer a one with fewer skills in that area, but a very good attitude towards growing and learning teammates than they would a person who has all the education and experience, but you can tell there's some issues with their attitude, and so they really wouldn't fit into that culture. So fitting into a particular culture is critical, because when I used to work in human resources and recruiting, I always made sure that when someone went in on an interview and when they were finished, that I knew, did they fit into the culture or not? Because maybe it's a kind of work that you want to do, but the culture is totally wrong. They're a whole different type of personality and temperament, how they dress, how they act, than what you are. And so always think about that too. Culture is really important, as well as skills, abilities, education. So always think about that. Which behaviors resonate with you and motivate you to excel, to take risks, and to grow stronger? There are a lot of behaviors that can do that, and you go, yes, I want to do that too. Oh, I love this. And you feel an excitement rise up in you. Maybe you've never thought about it, or maybe parents or counselors wanted you to go this way, and it's like, no. This is what really brightens me up, makes me come alive. Because a friend of mine, her grandson, is just about 18. And so he decided to be an assistant at a real estate company, and then when he turns 18, apparently he's allowed then legal age to take his test and become a real estate agent. And when I was talking to him about that, every time he talked about it, his face just lit up like a big light. He literally lit up, and I said, you know what? This is definitely where you need to be. Because every time I look at your face, you're beaming, you're so excited. So when you feel that excitement in there too, then you can really know that that's the area to go into, something that you believe in, something that you know that you'll continue building skills in, and that you can provide the quality of products and services that people are wanting, because you believe in the product so much, you believe in what you're doing so much. So always think about, how do you really feel? Emotions are quite a big part of that. So again, another exercise is ask yourself, like I said, operating the fear, the frustration, questioning my abilities. Another one is, am I wondering what I really think of me? You know, I've talked to so many people and gone through it myself. What am I thinking of me? Am I thinking I'm too good for everybody? Or am I thinking, oh gosh, I could never compete with those people. As much as I want to, I'm not even going to try. Well, again, I remember the little teenage girl, I think she was 17. This was years ago. She was in the Miss Teen USA pageant. She was basically an orphan. She had a foster mom who probably ended up adopting her, and no money. And she went to that pageant with a $39 evening gown where all these other girls, and I was in the Mrs. America pageant, so I get not having money versus all the expensive fancy things. And so they got her a $39 dress, put a little bit of, foo-foo on it, some glitter, and she won the Miss Teen USA pageant. And she was the poorest kid there that didn't even have a real family. And so again, we don't want to say, what do I really think of me? She realized her value and her worth no matter what had happened to her in her life. Am I effectively using my intellect, my gifts and talents while still allowing my heart and my mind to influence my decisions and behaviors? The mind shouldn't make all the decisions. The heart has to do some of that with you. So it's a combination of the two. And so instead of having, think, do I have preconceived notions, preconceived ideas of what I already think about this person, this company, whatever the case may be? Because if so, you want to really search your mind, your heart, and think, oh yes, I already feel like they don't have anything to offer. This person's snobby or dresses really bad, whatever the case may be. And so think of that. We don't want to go into any kind of encounter, meeting, whatever the case may be, with preconceived notions. Be open to learning new things, hearing other people's ideas, hearing their thoughts, and then working together compatibly to create resolutions to issues, to open up your business interests and relationships, to open up family and friend relationships, because it really matters there quite a bit as well. So think about all of that and always try to get rid of any preconceived notions. So as I finish up here, one last question: in what ways have you experienced these characteristics in positive and negative light? So, it might be, well, you don't want to talk to this attorney, but you need to, but he's always been known for being such a grouch and such a hard person, but he is so sensitive and caring about you because he sees what you're going through. So there again, that's something, another preconceived notion. So how are people's characteristics, how do they affect others, and how do they affect you? Fear of rejection, or nope, I don't need that. I don't have to worry about the rejection because I'm not a rejectable, if that is a word, person. So always think about that and what everything is in a positive and a negative light, and then go forward from there. So next time I'll continue from this, and have an awesome week, and God bless you.